I have a whole bunch of barrels lined up on the bench that desperately need to be tasted. They need some love and attention. They've been neglected. Yes, including the love child sitting over there. We're going to make a plan on what to do with them in the future. Does anything even need to be done? I don't know. I haven't tasted them. Let's get stuck in. So, what have we got here? Why am I making this video? First and foremost, I need to get into the love child over here. There's a specific reason for that, which I'll get into a little bit. We have the infinity barrel, the Munich safety net barrel video, whatever you want to call it, the Panella Rum that we did for Ben. This is something a little special that I need to check in on, something that I thought I'd lost that's come back. The Belgian Dark Strong. Let me clear a space, but before I get into any of those, I need to deal with this first. So, this is the Irish pot still, that's been aging on wood that was initially used for bourbon safety net and then the Froth Tech Buddy. And I've been using it for different things, tasting it. Honestly, I can't remember where it's all gone. Maybe this was only a half jar to start with, but the liquid level was getting so dangerously low that when we needed to do that Easter video, the Peeps draft challenge thing with Aaron, I just grabbed the jar and threw it into the mix as one of the alcohols we could draft because I assumed that it was probably not that great. I was wrong. It's absolutely delicious. And yeah, I could mix this in with something else and let it age for a little bit longer. I could, I could just put it in a smaller jar. But you know what, guys? I don't have a whole lot of my own whiskey bottled, sitting around inside that's, grabbable and drinkable at the moment. So I figured I'd just bottle this up. And instead of doing it off camera, may as well let you guys know I'm doing it. So if you have questions about it, you can ask. And once I've got it in the bottle, I can give you an update on what it's tasting like. All right, so we got one full bottle out of it, which is awesome. Where's my cup? Shall I have a little taste? And it's only 200 mils. Why not let's put the rest of that into the infinity barrel, shall we? Oh no, hilarious. I can pour damn near a litre of liquid into a bottle freehand without spilling it, and then give me a feral, and I can't hit the mark. Okay, so here's the deal with this, guys. When we made this, well, when I made it, I should say, I had in mind a few different kind of Irish pot still style whiskies. I was trying to land somewhere between Green Spot and Redbreast. Those are my two favorite Irish whiskies that I can afford. We do have some aspects of the Green Spot, but really not. And let's face it, guys, it's not anywhere near as good as either of those. It's not, I think it just needs a whole lot more time, and even then it probably wouldn't be balanced enough. I don't know. What I'm saying is I'm not trying to say it's that good. But we are getting a whole lot of the really interesting fruit notes, more so from Redbreast. We don't have any of that weird, delicious kind of coconut, fresh, light flavors from Green Spot. It's more on the dark red stone fruit side of things. But it's a really interesting nose. It's also heavier on the grain than either of those whiskies. And once again, age, I think, comes into play a little on that. But honestly, I don't mind it. I quite like the really heavy shortbread kind of notes coming from the unmalted barley. It drinks very similarly to the nose. The grain is even more pronounced, and it does finish slightly. It's slightly acidic. What I don't want to say is say acidic and let you hear sour. It's not like that at all. It's just it has a brightness to it by a slightly because of a slight skew towards acidity, I think, in terms of pH, which makes it feel light and refreshing. and really brings out that fruitiness as well. So this is really nice. Like, this is delicious. This is going straight inside. I'm going to label it up. It's not going to be around long enough to bother with proper labeling. I'll just give it the old blue tape treatment, take it inside, and it'll be a nice evening sipper. Anyway, now that we're updated with that, let's get on with, let's do the love child, shall we? I mean, to be honest, that's probably what most of you, you know, the returning viewers want to see is the love child. I don't know why, you guys are really into it. I guess it's because it's sitting on the bench. Unfortunately, the tap is sketchy as fuck. I'm not going to touch that because I'll probably lose the barrel, so I'm going to have to do the old wine thief thing out of the top. Don't have a proper wine thief, so this is going to take a little while with the metallic straw to get enough. Oh, come on. Oh, and guys, I know it's a little wobbly, but it isn't actually going to fall down. It's all right. Just get the bung back in there before I forget. I've only taken a wee bit out, mostly because I don't think I need much, and secondly because it was a pain in the ass to get out. It's only about half full. Yes. Okay, summer has done amazing things to this. If you don't know, the Love Child is basically a 100% corn bourbon spiked with a bunch of molasses, and all of these things that I talk about today I'll put in the description down below to the original video where I actually make it, you know, if you want to go back and kind of cross-reference the flavors that are popping up versus how I made it. The info's down there. But for those of you that have been following along with this, it's had a weird, almost like vegetable stock, savory vegetableness to it that kind of pops up and disappears. And I think it's kind of linked to the temperature. It's trended down. The average of that flavor is trended down the whole time, while all the other good flavors are trending up. But when it gets really cold, it seems like those flavors come back. So I've been waiting for summer to do its thing, and that's why I really want to taste it now, because if I want to bottle it this year, I have a sneaky suspicion I need to do it like in the next probably 3 weeks. Otherwise, it's going to have to wait a whole nother year. You get the idea. So anyway, none of that vegetable-y, stocky kind of cabbage stew-like flavor at all, on the aroma at least. Heaps of like sticky, sweet bourbon and rum flavors all mashing together. There's that kind of, I don't know how to describe it from the bourbon side of things. If you're a bourbon snob, and I say that lovingly, I'm going to try and describe a flavor, and you tell me the way that bourbon people describe it, because I'm not really a bourbon guy. It's something like this. It's kind of like hay, apple, honey, and oak. But it's all smashed together into kind of one flavor. And it's really predominant in a bunch of bourbons that I love. This has it in spades. It's hinted at it in the past, now it's really coming out. Also, lots and lots of French, this is a French oak barrel, lots of French oak spice coming through. Smells delicious. Yeah, okay. I don't think this needs to go in a barrel like now, but I think it's ready too. So I'm going to make a plan on how to do this properly. That same flavor that I'm trying to describe is big in the mouth. It has vanilla as well. It has the corn, the molasses, definitely some interesting kind of fruit notes, more towards baking spice, which I have to imagine is coming from the French oak. But the thing that I'm most pleased with at the moment is it's really well balanced. All of those things kind of add up to something that should be sticky and sweet and not, almost more like a port where you sip it slowly and it lingers in your mouth and it feels like confectionery. But it doesn't, because there's enough tannin from the barrel coming through to kind of strip it dry. And I want to just keep drinking it. It's definitely up there with the best stuff I've made. In saying that, it's the oldest thing that I've got in a barrel as opposed to jars as well. So maybe that says something. All right, enough of that. Moving on. I'm going to take a second and drink this, guys, rather than tipping it, because that's delicious. All right, I've had my private love child moment. I'm back. Let's get stuck into the infinity barrel. Where are you, sir? There we go. All right, so this is probably maybe the first product that Christopher, who's taken over Badmo Barrels after Ben died, one of the first products that he has kind of made himself. It's basically a Badmo barrel, but with an extra port on top, so it's easy to add things in while it's sitting there. And he's selling it as an infinity barrel. It's a really cool idea. I dig it, because you get to, especially for distillers, right? Because as you try something, like that Irish whiskey, that could do better with more age, I can just whack it in here. Maybe you have a little bit extra, you know, after blending cuts of something that's kind of tasty, but doesn't fit into whatever you're making. You can whack a little bit in here. It's a cool idea. This also ties into this, which I'll talk about in a second, but let me try this first. That's right. I forgot to put a bunch of peat in this to start with. That's tasting really good as well, actually. So this is actually an ex-sherry cask, as you can probably tell from the markings on the front. Christopher kind of hooked me up with that. Another reason that I wanted to go peat in this to begin with, but the beauty of a infinity barrel is that it's going to evolve over time, right? Like maybe it's really peaty now, but in 3 years' time, when I've added 4 litres to it and drunk 4 litres out of it, maybe there's only a whisper of peat. I think that's really cool. So I'm just gonna, the plan is to never empty this barrel, to just constantly drink a little out of it, maybe even bottle a small, 500ml bottle out of it, fill it back up, and you get the idea. It's heavy on the peat and has some really interesting funk notes that come along with peat. Not fermentation funk, I'm almost certain. It's definitely that grain and earth funk from smoked peat, which I'm a big fan of. I know not a lot of people are into. But interestingly enough, this is fairly well balanced at the moment too. Some interesting apricot, prune sweetness coming through from the sherry already, I think. That may die out a little bit from here on in. I might not get a lot more out of that, to be honest. But right now, it's tasting like a pretty decent sherried peat. Like I'd pay 45, 50 New Zealand dollars for that happily for a bottle. I did put a little bit of effort into this when I filled it up. I specifically chose a blend of spirits to go into it to kind of get it off on the right foot. So that's helping. This ties into what this is. Around about, dude, I don't even know, like maybe 5 years ago, I made a video about infinity bottles, and I started one off in a dirty great big Costco gin bottle, I think it was. I don't know what happened to it. I just lost it. I couldn't remember. And when I started this, I was hunting around trying to find that damn Costco bottle. And then a few days ago, I found this bottle with this little piece of wood in the bottom, which was the clue to tell me what this is. And as soon as I saw it, I remembered I never filled their Costco bottle, so I transferred it into this to basically put it to sleep and leave it for a while. Here it is, my long-lost infinity bottle. I don't know, dude. I'll look back at the videos and this is this old. So let's, I guess, smell it and taste it and see if it's terrible. Because what I'd really like to be able to do is at least put some of this into here. It feels like that would come full circle, This smells more sherry-ish than that. And I, for the life of me, cannot remember what's in here, what the story is with that piece of wood. I don't know. Okay, that's actually really nice. It's very, very subtle, especially after drinking the peat. I think the ABV is a little bit low, like this cork doesn't look great. I should replace that. But right now it's kind of delicious. Like if I had to guess, I'd say it's probably like 38% ABV. You know what? Screw it. I'm not even going to think about this. I'm just going to put some of that in there. If you've never done an infinity barrel, the cool thing about it is that there will always, technically speaking, be some of what you put in there. Like it'll be infinitely diluted in 15 years' time, but there'll always be something in there of it, right? And this is going all the way back to the beginning of Chase the Craft. So yeah, you get what I'm saying. You know what? Let me do, I'm just going to actually do this. It's a little bit disgusting, but chill. So I know roughly how much went in there. And I've got some video evidence of it now, right? I am sleep deprived and slightly tipsy right now, so I don't want to do anything brash and tip the whole bottle in there on a whim. I'll come back and taste it later, but no matter what now, there's some of that in here. I feel good about that. All right, let's move on. What do we got next? You know what, dude? I've been wanting to taste this for a while and I've just not got around to it. This is the Panella Rum that I made in remembrance, I guess, of Ben, the original creator of Badmo Barrels. The idea was that it was something that the community could kind of come together around, and other people have made very similar recipes. The thing that tied it all together was use Panella or Jaggery, and then do whatever the hell you want. And I don't think I have tasted this once since it went in the barrel. I might be lying, but if I have, you know what, I'm actually going to use a tiny amount of that to rinse the sherry-ness out of there. Ooh. Ooh. So I decided to do something kind of crazy and do Jaggery and Tootsie Rolls. Weird, yes. But I tried Tootsie Rolls in a Mean Spirits soon before, and I decided that it was actually kind of a delicious flavor that might go well in a mash. And then this came along, and like Tootsie Roll, kind of chocolate, kind of caramel, Panella Rum, it just seemed to make sense. Okay, dude, I need to go get Erin to taste this. So Erin's currently in bed, and I just ran in and like shoved this under her nose and told her to smell it. Because I'll be honest with you, I'm not 100% right now. I'm, like I said, tipsy and tired. This smells insanely good. I guess I would have described it almost like Jersey caramel rum. Erin described it as raisins. I don't even know what they are. I'll Google it and put them up here. She said it smells just like that. When I explained to her what it is, it's a bit like a Jaggery Run with Tootsie Rolls in it. She was like, oh, of course, that's exactly what it smells like. And it seems like somehow we've managed to pick up all of the good in Tootsie Roll and ditch the rest. The smell's bonkers. The taste is eh. Like, it tastes okay. It's just way too young. It needs a lot more time. It's a little bit, well, it's not true. It's not thin. It's just, it doesn't have a lot of complexity yet. There's oak flavor, and there's rum flavor, and there's Tootsie Roll flavor. Just none of it is really, it's not melded. Like, it hasn't come together yet, and it hasn't got that second and third and fourth layer of complexity on top of it. And honestly, I think that's just time. I just really hope that that Tootsie Roll flavor doesn't drop off. Because this, it sounds like a gimmick, but dude, I wish you could smell this. All right, so I'm not going to do a damn thing to that other than let it cook. Let me get this out of the way. All right, another Badmo barrel. What have we got? The Munich safety net, the upgraded all-grain version of the Munich safety net. Where's my water to rinse this with? I could probably stand to drink a little of this, I'll be real with you. One for you, one for me, And once more into the breech. Ooh. So, history on this one, team. I made a Munich safety net recipe, which may have been the very first safety net recipe. I'm not sure. I think for you guys listening to this, I don't need to describe what that is. But this one I decided to upgrade to doing basically the same recipe, but tweaking it to being all grain. This is the result of it. It's been in there since November 22. Wow. Oh, okay. So it's a little hard, honestly, to drink this after the other whiskies because everything so far has been really big, really bold, really in your face. And now we're going back to like a single malt that's just, there's nothing dialed up to 11. It's just more about the grain flavor. I need some more water. Yeah, I can taste it a whole lot better now. Interestingly enough, I feel like that real characteristic Munich like biscuity note is, biscuity is not quite the right word for Munich, but if you know Munich, I think you know what I mean. It feels like that has faded a little bit from what I remember, but in its place, I think it's got a whole lot more complex. It's got enough body to like fill it out without being sweet or sticky. It is a little bit tannic for sure, but not too much, I don't think. And I think the thing that the tannin is balancing in this is the grain. There's a lot of grain flavor in this compared to a lot of other single malts. Yeah, same with this. This doesn't need anything to be done to it. It just needs to chill and keep getting better, I think. Rinse the glass. Fill it up. All right, so this is a Belgian dark strong mash turned into a whiskey. And it has been in this barrel for exactly this long, because I didn't write it on the barrel and I don't know. If I had to guess, maybe a year? Tell me how wrong I am. Oh, okay. Whoa, very, very different to this, to the Munich. Whoa. Lots of caramel kind of notes coming. It almost tastes like hops. Did I put, was there hops in this? God damn it, I gotta look it up now. There's a specific flavor that I get when you distill hops, and it is kind of bitter, but not bitter at all. It's like the flavor of bitterness, even though bitterness doesn't really have a flavor, mixed with lemonade. Not real lemonade, like Sprite. Kind of flat Sprite and the flavor of bitterness together, without the mouthfeel, without it actually being bitter. Dude, I can't even find my own video. So bad. So bad. I probably gave it some YouTubey name without Belgian Dark Strong, or Belgian, or beer. I don't know. Anyway, I can't imagine I actually put hops in this. I don't think past Jesse would have done that and then put it into a Badmo barrel. I don't think. But it's almost working. It almost works in this. I have also found that that flavor fades from being kind of like slightly old, slightly, this is going to sound really weird to people that aren't into like aged beers, but slightly cheesy hops. It goes further away from that and more towards the Sprite side of things, the longer it sits in wood. It's just weird to me that that flavor is showing up in this, because I had that 100% pegged in my mind as hops. And now I'm starting to wonder if it's something else, or at least there's something else in beer style recipes that contribute to that flavor that isn't just hops. I need to stop rambling and go do some research and see what I actually put in this barrel. This is by far the quote unquote worst product that I've tasted tonight as of now. Like literally everything else has been honestly really good. this just doesn't work in its present state. If time doesn't fix it, I don't know what will, so I'm just gonna let it roll. There's some kind of spice coming from the wood. There's multiple layers of specialty malt, kind of almost through to a Munich-y thing, chocolatey, caramelly. But each of the flavors that I've listed up until now they're not blending and harmonizing with each other. They're just kind of like fighting. None of those flavors are blending and harmonizing and morphing in and out of each other. That's where I find joy in whiskey, honestly, is when you taste something and you think you know what it tastes like, and as soon as you put your finger on it, the flavor kind of changes right in front of your eyes, or right on top of your tongue, I guess I should say. And it keeps evolving, like as you're drinking it, as you're swallowing it. That's not happening now. It's like every flavor's like fighting with each other, and there's no cohesive interest, there's no balance, nothing's complementing each other in this whiskey. And that's not to say that it can't be really good in 6 months, a year, 4 years' time. Right now it's trash. I'm hoping time fixes this up. But because I'm a YouTuber and because of the sort of person I am, I just like experimenting with things. I tend to do a lot of weird things. And sometimes that can, how do you put it? It can be a knock on your self-confidence in something when you keep trying weird stuff to see what'll work and nothing amazing pops out. Of course nothing amazing is gonna pop out. I like distilling Tootsie Rolls, right? It was fun, it kind of worked, but it wasn't amazing. The flip side is I learned something from that and I could put it into that barrel with the Panella rum, and now that's amazing. And I think it's just gonna get better. So I guess what I'm saying is, this was kind of cool for me to go through and taste some of the stuff, like to taste multiple barrels of things where I actually, instead of trying to explore and trying to find something new, I tried to make something delicious, and it worked. And that is quite a nice confidence boost. So if you're like me and you tend to explore and experiment a lot, I think this is probably a decent exercise to do, I don't know, like 2-3 times a year. Just sit down and take a really little sample of all of the things where you actually tried, or all of the things that you're actually proud of, and recalibrate your brain to like, yeah, I can actually make something that's really tasty when that's the goal of what I'm doing. Anyway, I'm definitely rambling. I'll catch you next time, guys. Keep on chasing the craft. See ya.